Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the MyFootballWriter YouTube channel. And as we have been doing over the past few weeks since the season began for Norwich City in the Championship, it's a live match reaction. I hope you like the graphics which we've made up. They look a lot better than what I thought they were going to look, so we'll gladly take that. And maybe that was the case for Norwich City's performance as they were held to a 1-1 draw with Sheffield United at Carrow Road today. They're still waiting for their first league win of the season, but with performances and how they're advancing as a team under Johannesov tore up, maybe that first league victory could be a lot closer than some may presume at first. I'm Freddie Humphrey-Wakefield and I'm joined by Will Grant, also known as Youth Norwich on Twitter. Will, you've got a beaming smile on your face. How are you feeling? Of course, you were at Carrow Road today. What did you make of what you saw between Norwich City and a very strong Championship outfit in the Blades?
Yeah, I thought it was a very, very good game, actually. I felt after the game, and even before the game, actually, I felt it was two very even sides. I think both teams were at a similar stage in terms of where they were at. I think you've got Sheffield United, who are kind of struggling with losses due to their skipper leaving. I can't pronounce this name, but it's a Bosnian one, obviously, as well. For Norwich, Jonathan Rowe leaving as well. So there's quite a lot of departures each way. And it felt like that, obviously, I think Wilder actually summed it in his press conference. It felt like two teams like battling out whether like they were trying to get to, and it just wasn't a full performance yet. I said throughout our channels across pre-season that I still haven't seen like a full performance yet from Norwich. I think that's the same today, but what I did see today is I felt we were better for longer periods, especially in the second half, actually. Much more control from Norwich throughout the game. I think during that spell of control, we didn't actually showcase much shots at goal. I mean, I've got here, I think Sheffield United had 12 shots compared to our 7. So I think that just like demonstrates how they had more shots than us and they were a bit more dominant than us. But I think the biggest thing we actually want to see from Norwich now is we're now building this style of play. We just have to try and score some goals with that really good style of play. So it's coming from Norwich, I think, definitely. I'm really excited to see how we're going to keep maturing as a team, but definitely, Freddie, there's so much exciting things to talk about tonight. I've got about 6 points here that I want to try and touch on, and hopefully we will get across it across the live stream, and hopefully get some great comments in as well. It'd be absolutely superb, guys, if you get involved tonight. If you don't want it, that's fine. Me and Freddie will happily talk about about Norwich for an hour in like a podcast shape form anyway. So we're absolutely thrilled to be here, and it's just so good to be talking about a team which we feel like we're like identifying to again, doesn't it? Obviously, we had Dean Smith and David Wagner. It just felt like a bit too a bit boring to watch, didn't it? But it feels like now we've got so much like exciting players and kind of talking points to discuss, and it feels all positive right now. And that is what we want to see, isn't it, Freddie?
Of course it is. No, you're completely spot on, Will. There's no question that everyone associated with Norwich City wants to be associated with Norwich City. We want to be connected with the team that we're seeing on the pitch, and we want to know that every single player is giving their all and they appreciate the appreciation given towards them. And we already know if you're not on track with that, you're not going to play for this football club. And of course, that is a big call for any player to get from a new manager, but that's just how football should be. If you aren't connected fully with the team that you support and you put all your hard-earned money into, then why really bother? And as Will also said, if anyone who's watching could put in some comments below and give us your thoughts on the game or your thoughts on Norwich City as a whole over the last week or so, and what you may think in terms of upcoming fixtures, do let us know. We will, of course, bring them up and we will talk about them because we want to get everyone involved. But much like the football club and us supporters, we want to get you lot involved with this stream. We want to see what you all have to say and make sure that we're not disregarding anything that anyone has to say. Anyone here is welcome to share any thoughts they so wish. And again, as Will said, if you don't want to, that's fine. We'll talk about everything and you can watch us ramble on for a while if that's what you want to see. But going back to your point, yes, brilliant to see that there is evidence of a style of play being developed and the fans were very happy with what they saw. There was a lot of positive reactions around Carrow Road, actually watching the game and just sort of listening around to the atmosphere in the odd silent moment where there wasn't commentary being done, and you could hear that fans were happy with what they were seeing. Of course, it's still going to take time. We are only 3 games in, and there's 43 more to go in the Championship. But there's a lot of promise, especially in this team. There is a lot. Well, the players as well. I mean, Will, you put out in a tweet promoting this live stream for your own account, you really like the look of our new Ghanaian boy, Aman Fors. And again, he showed a lot of promise. The only real criticism I have of Norwich today was I feel as if first half, and arguably a bit in the second half, very sloppy at times in possession. A lot of loose passes or maybe picking the wrong pass. There was a big example of that. Well, not necessarily picking the wrong pass. It was more Sargent got the pass wrong when last minute of the game, pretty much, Sainz completely unmarked in the area. If that pass is about 2 yards further forward, Sainz has a tap in and will win the game. But it's football. It's a game defined on fine margins. But you must be full of praise for this team because, again, you're smiling away. Despite the result maybe not going, of course, we didn't get 3 points. You always want to win games. But against a very strong outfit, as I've already sort of alluded to, it's a good point, I would argue.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. Although I said earlier that we didn't actually score when we were actually on top, it just felt good to watch a team again, which was like so secure on the ball and in possession. And I feel like definitely under JHT, that's going to be the way forward. And just so impressed with actually how we controlled the game. I actually think as well, Callum Doyle is actually one of our most creative players. And it might sound daft, but he is so good at finding those passes in between the lines. And that really gets us going because I feel like when Doyle can find the likes of Forson and obviously Cernach in those advanced areas, it really gets us playing. And you can tell the team can really like buy off that. I know we're going to probably touch on Cernach and Forson later, but very, very impressed with them, absolutely. I think when you have new signers come in the door so quickly, you're always thinking about trying to like give them time to settle in. But I saw enough from Cernach today to give me confidence that he can do a job for us. I know obviously it's still so early, and I think especially I want to ask you a question later, Freddie, which I'll actually kind of give you like I'll give you the question now, and we can kind of talk about it later. But I want to kind of discuss whether now we've spent about £8 million on like a new player. Does the expectation rise slightly? Because it feels like now, I know there hasn't been too much money spent this year in terms of Championship overall across the league. For me, I think when you're starting to spend like towards £50 million on players, I think you actually do. I think you should expect some more better results come your way. Look, it's still so early in the season, isn't it? I don't think it's fair right now to be criticising results because I think right now, especially in the first 10 games, especially for me anyway. I'm all about trying to get some really good performances in there. But I just do feel with the amount of money we're actually spending right now, we could actually see some more pressure being actually on our doorstep. So let's just try and keep up with this positive mentality. But £8 million is quite a lot of money to spend, isn't it? Especially at this level, isn't it, Freddie? So it's going to be interesting to see how Norwich can like navigate through that and how Cernach actually does. But obviously you did a video around it, Freddie, but were you surprised to see Cernach in from the start today, or do you think that was expected?
Well, first things first, if you haven't checked out that video on Nketiahs, please go and check it out. Because that will give you a bit more information. Of course, the deal wasn't done yet, but that gives you a bit more information about the player if you didn't know that already. But I would say it wasn't a surprise to me that he's in the starting 11 with, of course, Jonathan Rowe now having left on that loan deal to Marseille with the obligation to buy for what could rise to 17 million. I feel as if, of course, that leaves a big hole there in terms of who was going to be the starting player, who was going to be put in. And with Sienats already having played in that position quite a few times, I think he has over 30 appearances of about 80 or 90 in his career, or at least when he was playing for his team out in Poland, that I'm not even going to try and pronounce because I'll butcher it and it will look bad on my part. But he did play quite a lot of times as a right winger. He has experience playing in any position of a front three, so it's not like he's unnatural. And of course, Torup will know that because he's been scouting him for ever since he's been manager, you would think so. And then Napa as well has said he's a player who they've looked at for a very long time and they've wanted to sign. So they'll know all about him, what positions he can play in, and the fact he can do a job as a right winger. So I wasn't surprised to see him in from the start. And to go back on your point you just mentioned, if anyone missed it who's just joining us, about the fact Norwich City spent £8.5 million on Sienats, I think, again, you do expect him to start. That is a lot of money for a player who seems as if he's the second choice striker. So, and of course, Norwich ended up selling Adam Eder for the same amount of money, who was their third choice, really. But to come in, especially when Barnes is injured, we don't have really a right winger on the books apart from Fasnacht, who's now out injured. And then Abu Kamara doesn't want to play for the football club. I think with all of those factors built in, he had to start. I think it's the perfect decision for him to start. Of course, didn't have the debut that he would have wanted. It was nothing to write home about. There was signs of promise, no doubt. But of course, it's his first ever game in English football, and it was a really tough game at that. It was a proper championship game, as Chris Wilder put it. Just weather was all for it. It was absolutely chucking it down. The game was high energy and full of press and intensity. There were bodies flying everywhere, especially at the end when Torup ended up getting a yellow card for God knows what. But it was chaos. Pure championship chaos was the perfect way to describe that game. But I do think Sienats will come good. I think give it time. Of course, you have to be patient. Of course, Norwich also today announced the signing of Oscar Svartau from Brøndby as well. That's another player who's going to need a lot of patience. He's 18 years old. He's only played not even 60 games of first team, not even 50 games, sorry, of first team football in his senior career, which started when he was 16. So again, that's the key word with Norwich right now, and it has been for months. Patience is a virtue, and hopefully it can pay off. There is a lot that we need to wait for that will finally be brought in and we can see. But I do think that Sienats deserved that start because he's the only player there really that could be there, and the price tag is hefty, and it's of course up to him as well to perform and prove his worth.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to touch on him today, actually, because I think he actually had I think his game was split in two halves, really. I thought first half he was actually really good. And you could tell why JHT wants him, because he was so efficient in those pockets of space, actually, because I think when you've got a player who wants to play in those pockets of space and drive the team forward, that is what JHT wants to do as well. And I thought during the first half of the game, I thought it was really, really good, really effective. And you could tell how he was so used to playing there, because he brought real speed and intensity to us in attack, which was so good to see. I think he's slightly tired towards the back end of the game, and I think when you kind of actually noticed that, I thought as well his performance was actually dipped as well. He just wasn't as sharp and effective as he was in the first half, and that's my thought of this first game. But I just felt first half he was much better than he was in the second half, and it's going to be really interesting to see how he plays it next week. I think you could probably say that this is probably our best performance of the season so far. So I think he'll probably stick with the same attacking dynamic like he did. Like he hasn't done this season actually, because obviously last week it was 4-5. So it'd be interesting to see how he goes next week, because obviously next week is going to be very, very tough. And I feel like, especially with Coventry, right now. They are obviously they drew today, I think it was. So obviously they are a team with many threats, but maybe it's a good time to play them actually, because obviously you look at the defense, and I think when I just at Coventry's team sheet today, I think there's quite a big gap in terms of defense and attack in terms of quality. I think you categorize Haji Wright, Sakamoto, and Ellis Sims as probably as top end championship, and then you look at other defense maybe, and it's maybe towards like lower end championship. Obviously I don't watch Coventry every week, but I think there is really opportunity for Norwich to get at Coventry next game. But the thing which Norwich actually have to show during that game is actually personality, because I think it's all well and good when your home crowd is like with you and they want to try and support you, but when you're away from home and the crowd is up against you, it's much harder to perform. And be interested to see actually how Norwich can actually deal with that, because I think Coventry will be very aggressive as well. So yeah, very impressive son actually in the first half. Second half maybe wasn't quite as good, but I think that's expected really. One player that I do want to touch on, Freddie, is Aman Fors as well. I know we were all kind of saying he was superb against Stevenage, but I think we can all interpret here that Stevenage is quite a step up to Sheffield United, and I think today he was actually superb. I was absolutely shocked to see he was actually the first sub today as well. But obviously, JHT actually said in his press conference that it's probably like due to like a yellow card and stuff like that. But I still thought he was one of the best players on the pitch. I did say that to my friends actually at the game, and they thought maybe it was being a bit too biased on his behalf there. But I just think the way he can like combine with his teammates in the advanced areas of the pitch is what we need. He plays the ball with such intensity, and he can get the team forward so quickly as well. And I think, especially under JHT, one quick play, especially in the attacking third of the pitch, it feels like when you have someone like Ashley Barnes there compared to Forson, it's been much more slower. So I think Norwich needs to try and keep building him up, because obviously he's going to be a very big player for us. I know he's versatile, but I definitely think there's huge promise for him to play in that in one of those pockets in the advanced areas. So very excited by him. Still can't believe if he's got a right foot or not, but I'm sure we'll see that in the coming months ahead. But yeah, very, very impressive, Amankwa. I thought actually when we bought him, I thought he'd be more of like a pivot, but not started to play more as an attacking midfielder. And it feels like still, Freddie, like there's so much like technical quality in our midfield, but it just still feels like to me we are missing that bit of physical profile in midfield, because today actually it felt that like Callum Dill and Shane Duffy were actually winning the midfield battles by coming short and being aggressive to the ball, and it just still feels like when Sheffield United actually countered us today, they did it at pace and quality, and you can kind of see why they were a Premier League club last year, albeit they weren't particularly great last year. But the way they can counter at pace was quite frightening, I felt, and I just feel like we need like that anchor that just like steady things a little bit, because obviously I know Kenny McLean has that engine in him. I just think he needs someone like alongside just to keep the team more balanced. And I think especially in away games coming up against Coventry, you're going to have more backbone in your team. Otherwise, we'll just get exploited too much. So I'm going to pose you two questions here, Freddie. Mankwa Force and thoughts on today, as well as that. Do you still think we need that like physical profile in midfield to kind of complement McLean, Nunes, etc.?
Well, first things first about Amankwa Forson, I do think he's a very talented player. There's no hiding that whatsoever. There's a reason at such a young age he's already played for his national team and he's played in European competitions. Of course, ended up leaving Salzburg because there wasn't that pathway to the first team for him. He didn't feel as if he was going to get the game time, but he is taking his opportunities at Norwich City by the scruff of the neck. He has been very impressive in his opening first few games. I think he is by far arguably been our best player this season, albeit we've only played 4 games, but it's the only really other two up there are Sainz and Sargent, you could argue. Of course, Sargent is back scoring goals, and it was Amankwa who got the assist for him. It was a lovely, nice layoff right through the heart of the defence. And you mentioned there about you felt Sheffield United, when they countered, they did it with pace and threat. I feel like Norwich did the exact same, especially in the first half. Looked really sharp when going forward on counter-attacks. Of course, just the final ball or that last touch, that bit of quality they needed, evaded them and didn't really chuck enough bodies forward at times, which is annoying to see. But again, as time goes on and we identify patterns of play, you would like to think that there'll be so much more differences going forward as the season progresses. Will Norwich end up being the best counter-attacking team in the league? Probably not. But again, we'll have to just wait and see on that. And for your second question, in terms of do we need that physical player in there in defensive midfield? Yes. This has been a position Norwich haven't filled in 4 years. Oliver Skipp was the last proper defensive midfielder who just battled hard in midfield and won big tackles and connected play from defence to attack. And Norwich haven't replaced him. They really have not replaced him whatsoever. I think that there is dire need for a defensive midfielder, that anchor man who can split up play. And of course, Kenny McLean can do it. He is a hard-working player who's got a great range of passing, but he's not a proper defensive midfielder and anchor man. But yeah, Norwich do need that. Will that be something that is addressed by Napper and Torup in the next few days? Potentially. Again, we'll have to wait and see on that front if any more transfers come in. But who knows? But yeah, to put a long answer short, really, for both questions, very impressed by Aman Fors. Thought again he looked sharp, and Norwich most definitely need a defensive midfielder because it can cause you trouble, as you mentioned, when you're defending on the counter and you haven't got someone who can just be a bit of a menace and split up play.
Yeah, but I have seen during the week as well, actually, that it doesn't feel like that Norwich are actually in the market for one either. So that's quite an interesting kind of situation to weigh up. I just feel that Norwich do have quite a lot of similar midfielders in the fact that obviously Nunes, Forson, etc. They are quite small and technically gifted players, aren't they? So I just feel like that could make them. I think that could be like a very good balance for Norwich in the future to have. It feels like right now we're a bit too short, and it's too easy for teams to kind of expose us on the counter attack, really. So definitely very excited to see how we. Good to see Jack involved here, my fellow graphic designer from last week. Good to see you, Jack. Hope you're having a few beers tonight.
Dear.
But yes, brilliant. Yeah. Last week, actually, with Jack, I was actually a bit critical of Nunes. And the reason why that was because I just felt like during the game with Nunes, he didn't show for the ball often enough, but I thought today he was brilliant, actually, at showing for the ball. It wasn't me kind of being too critical of him. I think it's just that I think he could be so good for us in the short term and long term. And I think when you've got a player who has got so much quality, you want him on the ball all the time. And it feels like at times he hides from the ball slightly. So definitely better performance from him today. Whether that could be sustained across the season will be good to see, and hopefully it does, because obviously it's a huge kind of position for Norwich, actually one of those deep midfielders in that particular pivot, really. But I'm going to go back to the strikers, actually, because I thought Josh Sargent again. I know I was quite critical of him during pre-season in terms of I don't know whether we should keep him because obviously his injury record. Sorry, I scrapped that. He needs to be kept at all costs. He has to be kept. He is just so good at just generally his hold-up play, the way he runs in behind, he can do everything. And there's always some scenarios I look at Norwich, and it's when it comes from actually like a long ball, and there's always two defenders on him because he is such a live wire in attack. He creates so much trouble for defenders as well. He can come short as well. He's got everything, and I think Kenny actually touched on it post match. He's one of the best strikers in the league, and I absolutely agree. He's just so important to the way we want to play. And I don't know about you, Freddie, but I just do feel like towards the end of the window, some teams might actually take a punt on him, and they might try and buy him, that cannot happen, mate, because it feels like if that could happen as well, it feels like now is a perfect time just to close off the avenue, because it feels like I just don't know, it feels too short for Norwich to do business for a Sargent replacement right now, because it's such an important role to pitch. So I'll be happy to be proved wrong, but I just think he's so important to like the way we play. Another really, really good take of goal actually today as well. Obviously, Cooper isn't a bad keeper at this level as well. So very, very impressed with Josh Sargent. He's our talisman, and we need him all season. But please, Sarge, just please stay fit, because I feel like if he doesn't stay fit, mate, there could be some problems. Do you agree, Freddie?
No, that there can be, and we saw that last season. If Josh Sargent isn't fit, Norwich are in trouble. Of course, have got reinforcements in the striker position with Sienats if he's going to play as a striker, or if then someone else ends up being played on the wing. We do have reinforcement there, but Norwich need Josh Sargent massively. Of course, they need Josh Sargent. He is a vital player for Norwich, and it's hilarious to think that, given how poorly he really started in his Norwich City career. But he's vital for this team. He is the spearhead for the team. Really, he is Norwich's biggest asset right now. There's no question about that. There was a lot of sort of subliminal wording from both Torup and Wilder really about the fact that if the right offer comes Norwich City's way and a lot of money is being chucked at Sargent, then you have to accept it, and then you have to take that and you take the money and you reinvest it, which something Norwich have done all summer so far. But with only about a week left of the window, they've got to keep him. It's vital that Sargent stays, even if that's only until January. He's got to stay here. He's already scored two in his last two. That's 2 goals in 3 championship games, of course, keeping up a very impressive record. And he scored in, I believe he scored in almost every single game at Carrow Road in 2024. He's just on fire. I think he scored in, I want to say it's 14 or 15 Carrow Road games out of the 20 we've gone unbeaten since November. We've been on fire at home, and he's been on fire for the last few seasons. Sargent
like
is vital. Yeah, no, exactly, just like his chant. Yeah, no, Sargent is.
I had to get that in now. I'm sorry.
Nice, that's fine. Yeah, no, Sargent is vital, and if he isn't kept, then Norwich will struggle for goals. That's the question I could throw back to you. Really, apart from Sargent and Sainz, really, and of course Norwich could have won the game today. There was a very late chance where Sargent and Sainz almost combined. Sargent just got the final pass wrong. He put it just a few yards behind Sainz. But apart from those two, where are the goals going to come from? That's only really big concern. I know we're still so early in the season, but where are these goals going to come from? Because no one else is really stepping up and putting them in the back of the net, but there's still so much time.
Do you know what, Freddie? Like, that is the one question that has been going around my head for the last few days, really. When Rowe leaves, especially, well, obviously he has now, but during that period when there was still some discussion, there was still around my head of where are the goals going to come from, really, especially when obviously you got McLean and Nunes who sit quite deep overall as well. I don't know if Fors is that guy to score you goals. I know he's so clever and tactical, especially in attacking thirds of the pitch, but he's more of like a combination player than a goal scorer, isn't he? I do think as well, Ante Senach will probably have to get in on the goals as well. I think they come from Senach, Sainz, and Sargent, and I think Sargent actually scores quite a lot of them as well. And I think that is why, Freddie, I'm already noticing, especially in these 2 home games, if you take Sargent out of that team, it just looks quite lightweight. It just doesn't look great at all. It feels very mid-table-y. So definitely an area to kind of be considering for Norwich. I know, especially if Kamara does decide to leave as well, and obviously right now I think as well they're still looking for an Abu Kamara replacement, aren't they, as well? So maybe if those two both do leave, then we might see some more goal scorers. I do also want to touch on the fact as well. I have been doing some homework. Chat or whatever, or whoever is in here, please prove me if I'm wrong or not. But surely now, if Norwich has signed 5 overseas players, surely the Rowe replacement should be English or in the English League or Scottish League, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is my detective work coming into fruition there. I don't know about you, Freddie. I've never seen all these names, but when I see like an English player living in Norwich, it just feels different. Like you get a bit more buzz, don't you? I don't know what it is. I think it's just me, but don't get me wrong. I've never seen all these foreign players coming into the club right now. I think it's great. So much exciting profiles, definitely. But for example, when Norwich were with Callum Doyle, I was absolutely loving live. So hopefully more of them, please. I also wanted to touch on one of Joe's comments actually right here as well. There we go. I love the live stream graphics. Here we go. He says, I was there. I thought the second half, I thought he made the last time a tiny bit late. I agree, Joe, actually, because I actually lost track of the game, especially in the second half. I was when the final whistle like blew, I was like, "Wow, that went quick." So maybe I was enjoying seeing the football. So yeah, it was brilliant. I do question whether, especially in the second half, especially and actually across the whole game, it felt like Alfie Gilchrist, the Chelsea only. I thought personally, I thought it was brilliant for them, and I think he gave them that like solid spine at right back. I don't think his like attacking work was too important actually, because it feels like Andre Brooks was so good against Crescene throughout the whole game, especially in the first half anyway. So I think he just did his job perfectly. And obviously, I think Norwich tried to play him against with Signs and Hernandez against him. Ono's cameo was a bit dubious again. I think it's quite a shame actually, because I feel like Ono has to. I think he's just got to grasp a bit more off the bench really, because I think he's that player when obviously Norwich can't get enough success through the lines. He's that player to like provide that like one-on-one threat, and it feels like at times he just can't be that attacking outlet, because I think actually during the second half he had quite a good chance, but I think he like scuffed his last and went out for a corner. But he was in a great situation to try and square it across goal, but unfortunately it wasn't the case. But yeah, I just want to see more practiveness from Hernandez, because as you said, Freddie, the goal for it I see coming from Sargent, Cernach, and probably someone off the bench as well. Really, so it's quite weak there, isn't it? I feel like this season we're going to win games, but absolutely like dominating the opposition. And it still feels like right now we're having like 30-minute spells where like we're absolutely ace, but it just isn't like a full performance yet, is it? Obviously, I know this league is so competitive, and absolutely, but it just feels like for Norwich to win the game, they've got to be faultless for the whole game. And right now, it's just too easy to kind of play through us. And as we said about the DM, like it's just so needed, isn't it? Although I see Forbes doesn't want that kind of profile, so who knows what's to come really. But this season, like after the early 3 games, I'm just thinking it's just going to be so entertaining to watch. Just so many players trying to shine and create really, really good moments. There can be some quite horrible defeats on the way, but there's just so much like exciting profiles. Actually, I think we're to kind of summarize the actual team. Actually, was doing like the first bit of the game. Actually, there was so much like misplaced passes by the team wanted to try and be creative and direct through the passing lines, but at times it was just a bit. At times it kind of felt like it kind of went like a bit wrong. So this team, it feels like to me, this team want to take risks. I want to be on the front foot, so I'm all for it as well. Callum Doyle was also sensational today. What a steal, Freddie! Like what a steal, Callum Doyle. Just talk to me about Callum Doyle. Wow.
Well, not really a steal when he's a loan signing. I think I wouldn't. I
Good
don't
point.
really
Bad
think.
wording. Carry on.
Yeah. I don't really think a loan player is a steal. But
it feels like it, mate. Like he's just so good. He's brilliant. He is. He's so good for us.
Yeah, he is phenomenal. Even before he joined Norwich, over 100 appearances, first team level by the age of 20. He is phenomenal.
20. He's 20. It's mad. He's so talented. It's brilliant.
Yeah, Doyle is a superb talent. I do think, well, I said it to you about 20 minutes before we started. I think he's the next John Stones in the Man City team. It's a big call. That's a big call, but I do really like the look of Callum Doyle. What do you guys think as we just flashed that up? Do let us know in the comments any thoughts you have about Norwich City at the moment, the game today, the result, or anything. Just general thoughts about Norwich City Football Club. But Doyle is ace. He is phenomenal. He's a very, very good player. Of course, has already had plenty of experience in English football, as I've already mentioned, but had the loan with Leicester last season, where he was playing in arguably a similar system, where he'd be playing on the left side of defence. And here we go. Well, we actually got a thought about one of Norwich's other centre-halves. Thank you again, Joe, for your thoughts. Pleasure to have you with us this evening. I thought Shane Duffy was a bit slow at times. Thought Stacey played really well, and Kenny McLean. So, Will, of course, you were there. Well, you got to see that firsthand a bit better than I did. Thoughts on what our friend Joe has just said there? Do you agree with that, or do you maybe disagree to a little bit?
I thought Duffy was better today. I think Duffy's role for Norwich this season, especially on the ball, is just shift it out quickly. Like he can't really play through the lines, so Shane, just get it out quickly, because that is how you kind of keep the intensity growing with the game. Stacey as well. I thought Stacey, it was a classic Stacey display for Norwich today. Just solid. He gave the team legs on the right flank as well. two really, really good runs, especially in the second half as well. Kind of like died down United's momentum as well. So very, very impressed with Stafey. Stafey?
Stafey.
Sorry, Joe. Yes. Kenny McQueen as well. Thought it was actually really good today as well. I just felt the two midfield pivots, they were just so much more aggressive today. It felt like during that Blackburn game, they were both quite passive, but today they were just on it, and you could just tell. I mean, Freddie, I could just tell, like, during this week, the work that's been done out of possession was notable. It was brilliant to see today, and that is going to have to be replicated again next week because Coventry are absolutely brilliant outfit. I put them third in my preseason predictions, and I'm still buying that as well. I actually want to touch on now, Freddie. There was a really interesting battle today for Norwich. It was Andre Brooks versus Ben Crescene. And I feel like Ben Crescene, I don't know yet. Mate. I don't know yet. I think there's definitely a player in there, absolutely. But I thought Andre Brooks, I wasn't really familiar with like Andre Brooks' quality. I know he's quite highly regarded by Sheffield United, along with Arblas, who I definitely want to touch on later, if that's okay. But Ben Crescene, yeah, I thought it was quite a weird performance. I thought second half he was actually really, really good, actually. I thought first half he was a bit lackluster. But I think second half he just used the ball really well. I think he realised the fact that he couldn't really like bring the team much like creative energy. So what he did actually quite well is he just played it down the line to Hernandez or Size or whoever. And that allowed the team just to like build quickly. Similarly to what I want Duffy to do, actually. If you don't have like a good game, just try and keep the ball moving because that is also so important. And I think that's what Crescene done. But yes, mate, I worry about next week because obviously Sakamoto is absolutely dynamite for Coventry. He is one-on-one specialist, and I fear about that one-on-one duel next week. Crescene against Sakamoto. I mean, we'll probably touch on it next week in more detail, but Andre Brooks, for me, although he's a really good player, I don't know how good he is as like a right midfielder. I thought actually he could be used more as like a right side midfielder this year, but he's actually been used more as like a right midfielder. So I think the thing I worry about with Crescene is he looked quite vulnerable, and I think there's going to be better teams to come and play against him. So that's quite a concern. But we'll see when we come to it. But yeah, he just looked quite short against one-on-one duels. He wasn't really like get a tight like touches man either, and it felt like as well when obviously Brooks would come inside or Aksaki, what he would kind of do is for me, when he got beaten, he would just let like Callum Dawes like deal with him, and then all of a sudden he's like Dawes is on like a one-on-one battle, so it's quite hard for him to kind of really step as like his authority of the team. So I'm a bit worried about that left back slot right now, but he's a good player, but I just worry about it slightly. And I also want to touch also on Joe's comment again. Thank you, Joe. When it comes up, there we go. The big question now is how do you... Oh, wow, yes, Palace away in the cup. Oh, my God. It's a busy week, isn't it, Freddie? Like, my head's thinking about Coventry already. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one because...
I'm sorry to butt in, but we just had another comment here from Cryptid Dino. Thank you, mate. He's got a big call about Palace, actually, so it links in with Joe's question here. He reckons we can beat Palace in the cup if we hold on for penalties. Huge call, my friend. Massive, massive call. If tell you what, if we beat Palace, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. I do think going back to... Yeah, go on then.
If we do beat Palace, that would be a big win for Frot because I feel like that would really just like back him even more by the fan base. I think you'll feel even more loved by the supporters. So, Cryptic Dino, I would absolutely love it if that was the case. But I'm a bit skeptical, I can't lie, because Palace has so much quality. Look, I know they haven't won the season yet, but let's just hope we don't hear the Mateta goal music. I don't know if any of you guys on Twitter have seen the Mateta goal music at Palace, but it is the most cringe-worthy like song you can play after he scores. It's like, do you know the song Boom 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 Boom? Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah.
So let's hope we have none of that on the weeks to come. Another question here, not question, statement, sorry. 1-1 and we went on pens, to be fair. Right, yeah. Do you know what? I would take a penalty shootout absolutely any day of the week because they've got some really, really good players right now. Actually, Freddie, like touching the Palace game, like we've got two really, really hard games, haven't we? Like this week, Palace away, Coventry away. Like How does Thorpe play that? Is it going to be like a similar team, do you think, to both games? Or like, how do you see it playing out?
No, what I see really in the way it playing out, I think Palace will take it easy. I expect us to put out the second team. At the end of the day, it's only the Carabao Cup. Norwich aren't really going to win it. That'll be amazing if anyone below the Premier League top 6 won it. I don't think that Torrup, of course, he'll care because it's a game. It's the first. It's the biggest test he'll probably have at this stage for maybe the rest. Well, maybe for a month or two. It is a massive, massive test. Palace, as you mentioned, have got some brilliant players. There's no denying that. Nketiah is in fine form off the back end of last season. Of course, they lost Elise, but they still have Eberechi Eze, who is a fantastic player. They've got Adam Wharton, a quality player who
He's
is
top,
so
isn't he?
young. Exactly, and he's only just getting better. They have got a lot of good players. Do I expect us to win that game? No. Would I be buzzing if we did? And going back to our mate here saying if we won it on penalties, of course I would be buzzing. And going on to your next point, Cryptid Dino, saying that good cup run would boost players' confidence. I think any good run of form over anything would, of course, boost confidence. It would be fantastic for Norwich to go on and win any run of games, even a cup run or a good league run. That would be fantastic. I do think that, of course, it's going to boost confidence, but to properly answer your question, Will, I do think that really we'll relax a bit against Crystal Palace because we're not expected to win the game. It's away from home. It's a game which probably there isn't too much care about if Norwich were to lose. And of course, Coventry, a big test, another very good side at championship level. Of course, didn't beat Norwich last season, and your mate Sakamoto barely had a kick in either game. So we'll have to wait and see.
Good. He's so good, Freddie. He's so good. I'm worried about that battle so much.
Yeah, but he didn't.
He's giving me nightmares already.
He did nothing last season. We will be fine. We will be fine. Well, maybe we will. We'll have to wait and see. But no, it's 2 tough games. I do think against Coventry, it will be back to first team. I would really like to see Cordoba get some minutes. I would imagine that will be against Palace. I think we'll see our new boy from Denmark, Oscar Svartau. I think he'll start as well. Would be a big game to chuck him in massively at the deep end. But, well, going instantly here again, our friend Cryptid Dino, Coventry will be very tough. Haji Wright is really good. We have covered that. He is very good.
So
player.
Good.
Yeah, but Sargent's the better American striker. So it doesn't matter. Haji Wright didn't score against us last season. So that's all I'm going to say. We'll be fine. But again, another comment from our friend here. Thank you for all your comments and sharing your thoughts. Oof. Goodness me, that's a big thought. That is a huge thought. We could possibly get promoted. Bear in mind, Norwich haven't won a game in the Championship yet this season, and there's Sunderland, who I think are the only team who have won 3 from 3. But no one expected Sunderland to be up there and doing well, especially not top of the league after 3 games. I don't even think they've actually conceded a goal. So Sunderland are on fire. So maybe we'll go up, but I think that's something we should leave for a while. There's still 43 games to be played. We'll wait and see on that front. But yeah, and then here we go. Oh, he's even straight in. Sunderland and Watford have won all their games. Well, that's a team that Jack had in his table prediction bottom of the league. I'm pretty sure I had Watford I think we all had Watford around the bottom half. We had Sunderland sort of lurking mid-table. So that shows how much we know. I had Luton to win the league. They've not won a game yet. So
they lost to Preston, didn't they, today?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. But hey ho, that's championship football.
Jeez.
Football's unpredictable. That's just how it is. But yeah, so to sort of finalise that really, Palace, I expect a second team, and we probably won't win. Coventry, straight back to full strength. Probably the exact same team we saw today, really. And we just go for it. And do I think we'll win? Yes. Yes, I do. We will get that first win. I can't wait to be sat here fuming after we've lost 3-0 this time next week.
Can I add some trivia to your statement, Freddie?
Go on.
Comments, as always, please do correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we wouldn't set us apart since 1996, have we? So that is 28 years since I lost. Yes. So yeah.
Yeah.
That could be quite an interesting one.
28 years since we won at Selhurst. There's been, I think, in the last 3 meetings, there's an aggregate score of Palace 6, Norwich 0. So that's a great statistic, but who knows? I mean, I'm going to the game. I'm going with 9 other people, my friends from university. So that'll be good. Tickets are a £5. You can't decline that sort of opportunity. It'll be a good night.
I love
We're
Sellers
going
Park.
here.
It's great ground.
Yeah, be a good one. Be a very good game. If anyone else is going, do let us know. It'll be good. Hopefully, we can try and see you, and that'd be nice. That'd be nice. But going back again to our friend here, Cryptid Dino, 2-0 win against Coventry. Sargent to score both goals.
Oh,
I love
mate,
it.
that was brilliant.
I love it.
But actually, going back to his point, actually, the more I think about the game is I think Sargent will be a key player on Saturday. I think the way how he can tussle with, obviously, I think their centre halves are Louis Binks and Latbier. So obviously they are 2 players who haven't kind of like established themselves properly yet as Championship players. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how they kind of try and get success against them. But I think there's definitely goals in this game, I will say. But I think Coventry might score more goals than us, which is the main problem. But what actually you want to talk about as well, Freddie? Also, guys, if you can talk, like, if there's any players like across the game, like today, across both sides, who actually thought was absolutely ace, then please let us know. But a player who I'm actually going to touch on right now is Ollie Arblaster. I don't mean to be a Sheffield United podcast here, but wow, first half his passing was superb. Plays in the front foot, and he is their skipper at like the age of I think it's 20 as well. So that is brilliant for him and his family. So huge credit to him. He was absolutely superb, I felt, today as well. Don't know about you guys, but I get quite a bad feeling when I see the likes of Hamer and Arblaster running through our midfield. So I was quite scared throughout the whole game, but luckily it wasn't to be today for them. So I'm quite grateful for that. But back to Norwich, really. I think we touched on Chris Sene. I think that's a very, very interesting player to kind of touch on in more detail next week. I actually thought as well, across the game today, actually, I wasn't too convinced by the Liam Gibbs substitution. I know personnel isn't great now in terms of depth. Some might argue, although I'm a huge fan of Elliot Miles, Gabe Forsyth, they are brilliant players, but I don't know if he sees them yet as a kind of influence to kind of play them regularly. So yeah, I just feel with Liam Gibbs, is he like an attacking midfielder in that role? I think it's more better in a double pivot alongside McLean or Nunes, but we'll see. Hopefully he gets a really good opportunity to play against Palace during midweek, because I feel like there's still a player there. And actually, I might check somebody in the room here. If Norwich do sign a new midfielder between now and deadline day, does Gibbs go out on loan? Who knows? I won't be against it. Absolutely not. So that is very fun to add. And then, but I think Cameron agreed today, guys. Nketiah Moore was absolute dog beat, wasn't he? Absolutely dog beat. Absolutely dog beat. I'm taking my Norwich glasses off. He was absolutely crap. I'm sorry to go that way, but he was dire. Absolutely dire. So,
oh, goodness
mate, he didn't offer nothing. Look, he might now score a hat-trick of Bramall Lane. Fair play, he does it. He probably will because it's Norwich, but he was not good today, mate, whatsoever. But actually, fair play to Duffy and Dole. They were great against them as well, but blimmin' hell. Talk about overrated, Jesus.
Well, hopefully there's no Sheffield United or Ipswich fans who are going to come for our heads now. But no, I do think the main reason I think as to why maybe he was so poor, you have to credit, of course, Doyle and Duffy. And maybe that is why Duffy was in there, in order to win those big aerial duels against Moore. He's going to be, of course, he's always going to be a threat. And well, you've just got a little look on your face there, because I've seen the same comment you have. Perone from Man City on loan. Now, I wouldn't mind it. There's probably no rumour whatsoever, but it would be okay. It'd be okay, as he admits. Here again, our friend Cryptid Dino, a bit delusional, but it's a shout. No, of course it is. Anyone can sign for anyone, but just want to go here to our comment from our friend Joe. Just going back about, of course, we spoke about Crystal Palace. Norwich haven't won the way there since 1996. I was not even born for another 6 years when Norwich last won there. He reckoned we had Redmond in the Prem. It was 1 or 2. Oh, could we end that on Tuesday night? We'll wait and see. But who knows, that could happen. But again, just going back to the performance of your best mate, Kiefer Moore, his threat was nullified through really good defending from Doyle and Duffy. They, credit to them, especially Doyle. Well, we're going to sound like the Callum Doyle fan club, but he's some footballer, very, very good player. Will be pivotal for Norwich in defence this season, and hopefully Pep Guardiola doesn't decide halfway through that he's going to take him back. So we'll wait and see on that front. But yeah, it was an interesting one, really. That the fact Kiefer Moore is still a starting top end Championship striker, but did have a very good loan spell last season at Ipswich, has to be said. But yeah, you clearly don't think you think he's past it. You think his legs have gone.
Yeah, perfectly different. I could have went stronger, but yeah, I actually thought the levels between that Nketiah last week to Kiefer Moore was stark. Although Moore had about one moment where he looked like sharp on the ball, Nketiah was just much more of a presence for the Blackburn. And I actually feel like Sheffield United have some brilliant quality players in midfield, and it feels like we need a reliable man actually hit those passes into. So I'm sorry I'm lagging slightly, but yeah, it just feels like we need a bit more of a reliable man up top to try and give them more balance. I know he is that striker, but I'm just not convinced by him overall. And I think also when you're a player who doesn't really offer much on a ball, I think his performance actually was very similar to the Ipswich game in the fact that he just did nothing. I'm sorry, Kev, but he just did nothing. So that was my kind of thought process around that. I just don't think he's got the turn of pace either. So that was my thoughts on Kiefer Moore. But yeah, Duffy and Dodd did a job brilliantly. Yeah, it's quite a really interesting kind of game, really. Just throughout the game, I just thought these teams are just so similar right now in terms of where they're at, and that's fine, really. If Norwich are kind of still trying to build, I do think though I have kind of said across our podcast recently that our opening four games, obviously Oxford, Blackburn, Sheffield United, Coventry. I actually remember during our fixture video, we said that we get 6 points in those games. We're still stuck here on 2, so that's brilliant. But anyway, no, that's fine because I feel like right now it's sort of about trying to get those performances right. But what I will say after the international break, we've got some really, really good games to try and get some results. Swansea away, Watford home, and Derby away. Hopefully, we get to see a point tally similar to 6 points, but. Yeah, it feels like during those games after the international break, we're going to have to start trying to pick up some points as well as showing really good performances. It's about trying to take that next step. But for me, I'm so sorry, guys, to be so negative, but I just can't see us being Coventry next week. So for me, I'd have to go into next week with another good performance. But the Swansea game, from then on, we're going to have to start getting some more points on the board because I feel like. What I said to my mates across this season, really, and even on this channel as well, is as long as we aren't in any sort of relegation battle, I'm okay with that. Just because, look, I know obviously we'll come back to our big question as well, Freddie, and I also want to get to the comments as well. Norwich are probably going to spend between about 12 and 50 million pounds this window. Is mid-table is that good? I don't know, but maybe that's what I was trying to invest in the long term, but. Would you take 12 if we spent 15 million pound this window, but we show some really good glimpses of performances, or is 12th place just unacceptable considering we're going to spend quite a lot of money?
And see, well, just before I get onto that, I want to get onto this point quickly. Again, I'll make Cryptid Dino again. Thank you for all your thoughts, and anyone else who has put any in, we thank you. We're going to be going in a minute, but if you've got any big thoughts you want to let us know, do let us know, and we will of course cover them. Saying that Sheffield United's goal looked offside. I can't really recall it too much. A lot has happened since that game.
It's a great strike, though. It's a brilliant strike.
Yeah, it was a lovely goal from our blaster. It was a blaster into the bottom corner. It was a fantastic goal.
That is a poor one. That's just a tap in, isn't it?
No, it is really no. But anyhow, on to that big question you've just posed. If Norwich do spend around 15 million, would I be happy with mid-table? I would. I genuinely would. I think as long as there are clear signs of a play style emerging and development, and being a lot of characters coming into the team and playing their part and really giving it their all and improvements in performances, then of course I'll take it. That was the big thing about this season. It was all about building the game. Building the game's play rather. And here you go, another comment from our friend Joe. Always enjoys going to matches because he does the football community. Well, fair play to you, my friend. Really, that's top work to hear. Very good. Of course, volunteers like yourself, they're massive in football. They are absolutely huge. So many organisations couldn't be where they are today without volunteers. That's very good to see. But I do think that really, yes, I would be happy with mid-table despite the money we've spent because, well, Daniel Farke, his first season, maybe didn't spend a lot of money, but brought in a lot of players to try and work in his style. He identified who didn't and who did and ended up being all right, didn't it? So we'll wait and see. So that's what this season feels like to me. It's got a lot of that same sort of, the words escaping me. It's very similar, I'll go with, about Daniel Farke's first season in charge. But I'll just bring up these 2 points again from Cryptid Dino. Check the Man City Ipswich score, saw Ipswich scored and was like, yeah, me too. But then 10 minutes later, they were 3-1 down, so it doesn't even matter. We don't need to be thinking about Ipswich right now.
Freddie, can I ask you a question as well?
Yeah, go on.
Did you captain Haaland in your fantasy team today? And if you did, was it a triple captain?
I did captain him, but I didn't triple captain. I'm saving that. I'm waiting. I'm waiting until maybe they play Ipswich again or something like that. We'll
big
wait
brain,
and see.
big brain.
Yeah,
Great
exactly.
answer.
Yeah, save it till the end of the season when no one else has it. But anyway, we'll go back to this point. Very close to winning in the last 15 minutes. Duffy should have played the ball at the end. I agree. We were very close. I've already sort of slightly touched on the fact that if there was that last pass, pretty much one of the last kicks of the this guy knows what he's on about. Cryptid Dino saying we're going to win next weekend. Captain Haaland, he's a mastermind. This guy, he's brilliant. Good to have you with us. Hopefully you already subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, make sure you do and like the video and continue to support us. So excuse me there, but yeah, I mean, I do think Norwich, we could have won that game right at the end. There was that final pass from Sargent just behind Sainz. If that just goes a few yards further forward, tap in, unmarked, Norwich could have won that game 2-1. But alas, we've drawn 1-1. A good point, you could argue, against a very strong outfit in the Championship this season. And Norwich can continue to build on a result like that. They go to Selhurst Park in midweek. Will they win for the first time since 1996? Let's hope so. There are a few who already think that, but again, we'll wait and see. It'll be a tough test. And then there's the very next game after that, another tough test. Coventry City away at the Ricoh Arena. Could be a
horrible week, isn't it?
It is a hard week. It is a very hard week. You've got a team who were in the Premier League last season, a strong playoff outfit, and a team who were on a very good run of form at the end of the last Premier League season. But just before we go, if anyone has got any final points or any questions they want to raise and maybe get our thoughts on something, do just put them down in the comments quickly, and then we will head off, and then we'll all leave you to get on with the rest of your Saturday evening, and then going into Sunday, hopefully you can watch some more football and you all enjoy yourselves, and then you can look forward to the bank holiday as well, a bank holiday weekend right now. We'll have the Monday, maybe you've got the day off work, maybe you haven't, or you're going to watch some non-league bank holiday football. That's always a good bit of fun to have. I'm working it personally, so I don't get that. I don't get the fun. What about you? What are you doing? Anything special this bank holiday Monday?
I'm working as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so that's great. Personally, I prefer to be out at a pub playing some arrows, but unfortunately that's not the case. We've got to get the grind going, don't we, Freddie? And
exactly.
But I must say this actually before we do end. Anyone that watches these podcasts, live streams, whatever, they know I'm a big Yachtsman supporter. So there is a big game on Monday, I think. And it's Wroxham Galston at Trafford Park. You've got to be there. It's a local derby. Wroxham a bit up and down right now, so you're going to need your support. It'd be great for everyone to be there. And let's let them get 3 points. Sorry about if there's any like Galston fans around here. I do apologise. I value and respect you as well. But up the Yachtsman.
Exactly. Yeah, they have just lost their manager, Jordan Southgate. He's gone to Lowestoft. I believe they won 3-0 today in his first game in charge. So who knows?
That's very
Hopefully,
good.
hopefully Wroxham can end up winning against Goulston on Monday. But let's hope Norwich City can end up winning on Tuesday and also Saturday. And our mate here, Cryptid Dino, can get more points in his EFL fantasy from Josh Sargent. We'll wait and see. Thank you all for those who have tuned into this live stream. Thank you for Joe and Cryptid Dino and anyone else who shared their thoughts about this live stream. It is very much appreciated. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. We're very close to 2,000 subscribers and hitting that milestone. And I have been Freddie Humphrey Wakefield. He has been Will Grant, and we will see you here on the MyFootballWriter channel for the next video of ours. It is goodbye for now, and we will see you all in the next one.